Tuesday at 7. We have my wife, Beth, behind the camera, and we are down here at Asian Town. And if you guys have been down here, then you know this is a lively place, not just with great food, but there's art, there's gathering, and tonight we're going to explore the art of movement. Viva, the Viva dance studio up on the second floor. And we have a number of artists that have introduced us to this space, and we're going to go check it out. We're going at 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday at 8 this week because they have 3 or 4 classes going on simultaneously, and then it kind of breaks out and they kind of go to some open dance, and it gives us an opportunity to explore a little bit more, maybe kind of inside the mind of and talk about why these folks continue to dance. It's of interest to me. But if you guys have been here, right, or you've been watching Tuesday at 7 for a while, you know that we spend a lot of time down here with Negative Space with Gotti, Chrysalis, and there's a bunch of great artists down here as well. So we appreciate you joining us. Should we do the giveaway? Let's do the giveaway upstairs.
Yes.
Do the giveaway upstairs?
Let's do that.
If you guys were with us a couple weeks ago, we were with Tamir, and if you haven't watched that, you should, because it was a great interview. And funny enough, Tamir also dances down here, but he's not here this week. And if you guys have been down here, walking up the circular stairs, and I've got Beth who's holding a phone, holding the tripod, and walking these irregular stairs up.
So I apologize for the motion sickness I may be giving somebody. All right.
And then the stairs are not even. On one side they're wider, and the inside of the spiral they're shorter.
And I have my bifocals on, so that wasn't helping.
Yeah. So Negative Space is here. They have the Side Burner Gallery. They have the Annex. Always has great shows.
Oh yeah.
And if you guys are, ever looking for something to do, there's things to do here most weekends and often during the week as well. And some folks might be inspired to start taking some dance classes after tonight as well.
I hope so. It looks like fun.
All right.
There's also fabulous Korean food. If you haven't tried the Korean food.
That looks like Gotti's work.
It does.
Yeah, certainly. It
I'll have
has
to ask him.
Gotti's feel. And Tuesday night, this place is hopping. How do you, I don't know how you
People
pronounce I know that's martial arts, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Aikido?
Aikido?
I don't know.
There's a bunch of classes going on. I would guess there's, 40, 45 students.
Yeah, there's 3 group classes, and then there's a good amount of private lessons occurring all simultaneously.
And this is, so if you see this V,
Mm-hmm.
it's Viva Dance. And again, there's always something going on here. And I think that there's all kinds of stuff going on right now. Private classes, wedding choreography. Did you know that existed?
What, the couples?
Wedding choreography?
Yeah, couples will... Have you never watched a girly movie ever?
I haven't.
Oh yeah, there's always something happening when they're planning the wedding in the middle of learning their choreographed dance for their first dance, and then somebody finds out something terrible about the groom or the bride, and
I missed that, but cute. Now I know, and now our audience knows that if you want some wedding choreography, this is the place for opportunity. Anyway, if you were with us 2 weeks ago, we interviewed Tamir.
Mm-hmm.
And if you shared that video, your name is in this hat. And if your name is chosen, we're going to get your address, and Tamir is going to send you a print of that beautiful, large.
That's right.
Yeah, that large photography thresholds, from his thresholds.
Our winner is Jimmy Committee.
Jimmy Committee? Are you kidding me? Jimmy Committee might even be here
Feels-
tonight.
I was going to say,
Congratulations,
that
Jimmy.
feels...
It feels kind of loaded, huh?
It is.
Jimmy, thank you. And he's been
Wonderful.
sharing
Yeah.
for every
That's the
interview.
first win,
so
I think.
this is your first win. So congratulations,
So.
Jimmy. Thank you, Tamir, for your backstory, for sharing kind of where you're at, inspiring us. I love his word for the year was courage.
Yeah.
And
That's a good one.
And I think that might be apropos for this interview too, because I think a lot of folks need to establish some courage before they walk through this door and take on dance for the first time.
I would agree.
All right, so for the folks that are joining us, here's a game plan. There's a bunch of classes going on. Kind of listen in for a bit. We're going to try to capture maybe a couple comments. Helen, who is part of the drawing groups, we've interviewed her as well. She's also does some poetry. She's here tonight, so we're going to maybe get a couple words from Helen. Parker, who is actually teaching right now, we're gonna kind of listen in, and at 8:30, when everybody breaks, we can have some opportunity to to learn some more and hear some backstory and talk to some of the other instructors and folks as well. So
Sounds like fun.
I guess it means to come in. Oh, and we encourage you also to share, because what's the most important thing for our community is a share. Every single time that you share it, in the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow. When you share, we know it, and it carries the story to a larger audience. And we think this is a story worth telling. So thank you for those shares. All right.
The energy should always be in one direction.
There's a lot of action going on. And we know, just because we heard on the front end, that there are 4 classes going on. There's one.
Yep.
Yeah, just behind us. Tango.
We passed the tango class. This is a beginner and an intermediate Brazil something, but I didn't hear the rest of the name.
Brazilian Zouk. I think it's Brazilian
That was
Zouk.
it, which I'd never heard of before. But it looks, I love any Latin dance, so Zouk sounds fun to me. But the Parker is the gentleman talking, and that's the intermediate class. And then there's a more novice or beginner class there. And then there are private lessons happening behind us. And, perhaps saying that, so they have all these lessons, whether it's group or private, going on, and then they have a social hour at the end of the evening, in which everybody has the opportunity to review or more casually get to enjoy what they just learned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not at all.
Of course, mirrors are necessary at a dance studio.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, good. Rotate!
Familiar faces. You guys recognize Helen D?
All right. So now we can do this split weight. Watch, we can do this split weight where we're just staying in the middle, where I'm just tilted. Or I can transfer my weight from leg to leg. which will make the movement look bigger and will free up the foot if I want to do something else. Right? So I want you to practice start transferring your weight so that head is over the leg, supporting leg. And if you look at the head movement, the head itself only moves this much. That's it. If I add in my rib cage, if I add in my knees, and then if I add in my weight transfers, it's an illusion, right? The head is really still only doing that little bit. Alright? Rotate, and let's try it with weight transfers this time. And while we're practicing this, I want you to go really slow, okay? Nobody's going fast. You might see me going faster with some of my students who are more advanced. Still go slowly, okay?
Super fun.
Brazilian Zouk.
Do you want me to Google
Yeah,
it?
take a look at Brazilian Zouk. Because I think that's a newer fusion.
Sounds right. There's a Brazilian Zouk World Championships and all that. Let's see. The partner dance began in Brazil during the 90s. It evolved from the partner dance known as the lambada. Interesting. Over time, Zouk dancers have experimented and incorporated other styles of music such as R&B, pop, hip-hop, and contemporary. So it's the lambada, only better, probably. Which is fun because I haven't thought about the lambada for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Good to know. Nice.
So certainly up here, they're breaking it down into head movement, to transfer of weight, to... We're gonna learn some more.
Yeah.
So this is this class here is the intermediate or advanced.
Yeah.
Brazilian Zouk. We have
Yep.
some.
I don't know what they're doing.
They're moving around. It looks like beginners.
I know. She said they were beginners, but it didn't seem like it.
If you guys have been down here to Negative Space, you know that it's a beautiful area, and they also have great golden hour over the city. So you're looking out over Cleveland. Guys, we're kind of just listening here into the Brazilian Zouk class. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And we're going to break, take questions, talk through what's going on here shortly. I'm going to hand...
Step away, body forward, together.
What are shoes? How much shoes make a difference?
I would assume. I mean, you want to be able to slide and move and turn pretty easily.
Right? I slid my hands in here and I open my chest to cover head before they take a puff and release it. And then I pop and I move backwards with the base. Okay? Ready? 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, and open the chest, and then throw up, and so now your extra should be back the whole time. Make sure your head is away from the abdomen. Again, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, and access the head points away from your partner the whole time, and then we come back up. Good. Yes? Let me see. And now, so now when you invite
if anybody has any questions, we are absolutely wanting to take those. Even if we don't bring them on right now, we'll have the opportunity to answer them later, maybe in the recorded session as well. We're here at Viva Dance Studio down at the Asian Town, where Negative Space and a bunch of art galleries are. And we have many artists who are also dancers. We wanted to explore the art of dance here as well. This is Brazilian Zouk, and they're breaking it down to transfer of rates.
5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 8. So you tried to finish over that side, or we have done it, right? So we're going back to here. And now if I wanted to change it, I can just ask you to do that. So yeah, ending point is right? Finishing on this side. Rotate! Good. All right. So last 15 minutes. This one that was
I wonder how many different techniques or habits you get just by rotating partners, because I work on this move with a bunch of different partners because you never know, you don't always know how to dance.
It's true. And it probably helps you figure out your move because you know you have, I mean, it probably teaches leading and following in a much more distinct way than if you're with the same person each time. And it makes you understand what the leading and the following actually means.
All right, everybody good.
They make it look so effortless.
So, going from finishing it over this side, I'm going to do the same footwork as a closed lunge. She's going to keep her angle here because my angle stays here. I'm going 1, 2, and then I'm going to contract, which will bring her head forward, and then go to the side and find that arm again. All right? So followers, let's do that movement on our own first. Okay? So what we're doing here, our head just finished over that left. Watch me first. I'm going to go forward, side, contract, side. Right? So if we're looking at the mirror, let's do a full 180. And I'm going to go 1, 2, and. Right? Let's try that together. The head doesn't move until right before the third step. So we do tilt, the head is still over the left shoulder, and then right before our third step, it contracts and moves over to the right side. Right? And let's just do that again, just in that direction. So, move back up to the left, head stays, then it moves right before the last step. One more time. And head stays, then it goes to the front. Now, if we want to practice from here, we do our dive from here. Dive. And then circular head movement. And dive. And circular head movement. This is not easy, especially to do on your own. If you're not getting it on your own yet, do not feel bad. Okay? It will be a little bit easier with your leader's help. Right? We are there to help support, make sure you're not falling. Right? So we have to maintain our frame and be ready to catch our followers should they get dizzy, because it does happen. Right? The more you do this, the less dizzy you'll get. Right? The more you practice it, and eventually, you're doing all sorts of, right? And then she can still stand on her own, and she's fine. Right? But you have to go through that time, that moment of okay, I'm nauseous now, I need to take a break. That'll happen for a couple months, and it's okay, but then it starts to feel good. So just take
That was fun.
We're busy after that.
Seriously.
For those folks that are watching, we are here at Viva Dance Studio, downtown Cleveland. We're not too far off of 90 and the Superior exit. And it's Tuesday. There's all kinds of dance classes running down here.
And these will be over in about probably 10 minutes, right? And then they start just kind of a social hour, and everybody, I mean, the group may leave, or they may stay and practice and talk and go over moves in a more casual way and just be able to enjoy it.
So stay with us, because we're going to have a chance to do a little more exploration.
Yeah, talk to Parker and get the history.
Go for the tricep, and then dive. Keep your arms racing. So, okay. So now what I like to do, especially when I'm doing a lot of heavy techniques, watch. As I do this dive, I don't take my hand away and then go for the back. Right? I leave the hand right here. So if she gets off balance at any point, I'm there to support. Right? And remember, when we trace, even if we're at the shoulder blade to start, we do have to bring our hand down to trace, and then you can come back up to the shoulder blade. Right? Okay? Rotate. Let's start at that same point. So we are projected. We just finished that first dive. We go around, extract, and lift. And then lift up while supporting. And then we create the angle again. So that they're hanging behind the shoulder. 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah. Doesn't come up to neutral? It comes over there. Relaxing is the hardest thing to do. Rotate! Oh, I'm going to put some music on. If you're with somebody who is comfortable with this already, go ahead and do it for the music. If either of you, this is their first time doing it, do it slowly and just ignore the music. Okay?
I know there's a lot of folks here who recognize Helen B.
Music and you feel you're not letting go of the music, tell them. Be like, hey, slow down, not right this. Don't be afraid to walk, okay?
This is Brazilian Zouk. We're down here at the Viva Dance Studio, down here in the Asian Town Center in Cleveland, Ohio. The Brazilian Zouk class is coming to an end, and then we're going to have the opportunity to kind of talk to some folks. Talk a little bit more about the art of movement and dance.
Yeah, nice. Rotate. That's nice. Rotate. Followers, whenever we're doing our head movement, right, whether it's moving our feet or not, when I tilt to one side, make sure that you're not collapsing that side. You know, that's how we get heavy and off balance. So let's all do this little exercise here quickly. Arms up to the side, and I'm going to stretch my right rib cage, but I'm not going to collapse the left, so my left arm is still up. Good. And other way, stretch the left rib cage, but don't drop the right. If we collapse this side, that's when we get heavy and off balance. So we're always stretching one side and stretching the other at the same time as one more than the other. Yeah? That means that we're going down. Same thing here. We're going up or up. Same thing here. Up or up, not down. Yes? Cool. And leaders, you can help facilitate that by not dropping the down elbow. Right? Remember, if I go here, she's not going to collapse. If I go here, she can collapse. So if I collapse, if I move it through there, she can be off balance, maybe too far forward, maybe hit her head to the chest. Right? So the down elbow stays slightly up at all times. But always have that frame. Good. Good. One more time. New partner. I'm putting the music back on. And, oh, actually, no. They're already filming. So let's film. Let's film. And then practicing during the practice up. Practice up. All right. Yeah. All right, here is week 2 of intermediate 2, my partner, and we're working on dives and circular head movement today. So we talked about the circular head movement where I'm not really leading, I'm not forcing anything, I'm leading through tilts and through bending my knees and straightening my knees, right? So I can unlock the head forward, back, or side. We're working on side today. So I breathe in, tilt it, and exhale to initiate the movement. And I'm transferring my weight. And we're going to go all the way around to one side before changing. At any point here, I can initiate the movement we did in class. So we'll have 1, 2, and. So I went to the tricep here to take the elbow out of play. I don't want this to happen. I'm lifting the tricep, creating that dive, and then I can block the movement and finish up. Or I can restart the movement by shaping and then repeat. And last one, we did that she hooked and up. Right? But we haven't talked about how to finish it. So to finish this, let's do a round dive. But we did talk about how to finish it. The way that we finished it before. Just the neutral and come up. Right? Good. Question. Did I cover everything that we did in class? Sweet. As soon as they're done filming the beginner class over there, we'll do a short demo, and then we'll have a social dancing. We have Roger here.
Yeah.
And he might come up to you and ask you some questions. Is everybody okay with that? Does anybody not want to talk to the camera? Okay, cool. So, if you want to talk about your experience with him, go find him or he'll find you.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you.
Or he'll find you. Official question.
So, Helen, we know
that you've been part of the community. We had the opportunity to interview you a few weeks ago, and you know a bunch of folks. You've been dancing here for how long?
Oh my gosh. I started dancing here like when they reopened after COVID. So 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
So how long have there been? So Parker is he owner?
Yeah, Parker's one of the co-owners. There's 3 owners.
Okay.
Eddie's probably still in the tango room. Rebecca's not here tonight, and then Parker. So, yeah, and then they just had their 10-year anniversary. They celebrated in March of this year. So they've been here for 10 years. I've only been here for a little while.
So, like, if we were to take a look at, I mean, I'm guessing there might be 50 games, like, I don't know, 50, 60 people here tonight?
Yeah, it's Tuesdays are good. Tuesdays are good, but you should see Thursdays. That's salsa night. It's packed.
So tonight we had Brazilian Zouk.
Yes, Brazilian Zouk here.
There were like 2 different levels.
Yes,
right?
2 different levels happening.
There were some dancers back here. What's going on back there?
So Tabitha was doing, I think, a wedding choreography. Katie Fox does bachata. She runs the bachata team, and she was practicing over here. And then we had some other miscellaneous dancers. And then in the other room, there's tango happening. So Drew and Sophie and Eddie are all instructors over there. And then a lot of the tango people actually also dance Zouk. So they're going to come over and dance. And then sometimes during our practica, we end up doing some tango fusion, those of us who dabble in tango as well. So it's fun.
So Zouk, I mean, I think we took a look, and some folks, you know, they kind of jump in and jump out.
Yeah.
Zouk, I hadn't heard of Zouk until I'm like, let's check out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a dance that's kind of newer, I guess.
What is Zouk?
You want to talk about the history?
We're about to do a short demo if you would like to see that, and then I'll
absolutely.
be free to talk to you after.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Nancy's amazing. She's an instructor here as well. Nancy's on the salsa teams. She leads an amazing cha-cha line.
But you not start.
So is this Brazilian Zouk?
This is Brazilian Zouk, yes. So Nancy's a pretty advanced dancer. She does a lot of different dances. And she and Parker, sometimes when they travel and they'll teach together. And she also teaches level 1 sometimes.
Imagine that there's Zouk gatherings, competition.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, there are. So Cleveland doesn't host any competitions, but there are, like, just around the country. Taylor, that's here tonight, she's just been traveling a lot to different Zouk competitions and Zouk festivals. And a bunch of people from here are going this coming weekend, actually, to Canada, to the Canada Zouk Congress, which is one of the biggest ones in the continent.
Now, I am not a dancer. However, I'm imagining that some of this is Zouk movements and some of it is improv, or is most of this?
This is Zouk movements for sure.
Okay.
But there, in these social dances, like tonight, we're not practicing for choreography. So like Nancy's on a dance team, they'll drill a choreography for months and perfect it and compete. But this is all made up on the spot. So we learn the vocabulary of the dance, we learn the different movements, but how we string them together in a particular song is always different.
Yeah. How long has Parker been dancing? I mean,
He started dancing when he was in college, which was 2 weeks ago.
He's a natural.
Yeah. No, so he started dancing in college and then has a martial arts background and other body-based, modalities and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There is, as I'm looking, there's, I wasn't sure what to see in terms of footwear. Like, people are wearing tennis shoes and
Yeah,
maybe some
sometimes some socks. It depends. So if you're a follow, which is the part that I typically dance, you need shoes that have a lot of glide because you're spinning and pivoting. But if you're a lead, you need shoes with a little bit of grip because you don't want to be sliding all over the place. Is you need to kind of be a steady base. So, would you like to speak to Drew? He's one of the tango instructors.
Absolutely.
Drew, would you like to speak to a camera right now?
Yeah, what's up, dude?
This is Roger. This is
Camera. Hi, Roger.
How you doing?
Good. Nice to meet you, man.
We're the Tuesday at 7 community. We're a creative community, and we go everywhere in
Party.
terms of
Without a swear,
different arts. And we're like, all we want to do is check out. I mean, we spent so much time down here in negative space and the fine arts. I'd walk by and I'm like, there's some great stuff going on here, and we want to kind of explore that. But so Zook's going on over here, but there's stuff going on all over the place.
Yeah. I teach tango in the smaller room, but it's just smaller, but it's just more room for the party, you know. So go ahead.
Tango. There's how often do you teach tango?
Every week.
Every week?
Yes.
Every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday night, 6:30, and we have a 7:30 class as well.
Different levels, or is it just
Kind of. The first one's kind of open level, just kind of. It's a lot more theory. So when I teach, and then the second one is a little bit more kind of like associating like ballroom moves and stuff you'd find on YouTube a little bit more, but it's fun.
Who signs up for your classes? Is it people who've been dancing for quite some time, beginners that walking off the street just going to want to learn how to
Literally everybody. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I started 7 years ago now. I was just at a winery one night. There was a sign that said free tango lessons. And then I fell in love with it because there were a whole bunch of sweet women feeding me meatballs all night. And I was like, this is the best thing in the world. Go to Cleveland Urban Winery Wednesday night, still there. Then I took it more and more seriously, and here I am. So I've been teaching, and we get everything from established vets in the scene who come out and just want to brush up on some of the more introductory level stuff, or some more advanced concepts when needed, and then we get people completely new off the street. So.
And you do events at Waterloo too, right?
I do, yeah.
There is the social component is an important one.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a key thing? In other words, people are like, it's social first.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, physiology second.
It's different for everybody. I mean, I've met a lot of people who just sit in the corner and are just like, I'm here to dance. And, they will also be the first to complain that they're not getting a lot of dances because they forgot the social component, which I think is really important. So we just try to do our best to accommodate for both. We want to make you a great dancer while also making it enjoyable to hang out. So.
I imagine meatballs and dancers is a good way to find your way in, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much so some folks, they might go, I want to learn how to tango. I want to learn how to. So there might be some folks that say, I want to learn how to tango.
Yeah.
So you can jump on, I would imagine, to the Viva Dance Studio and just check out, and we'll make sure that we
check the website.
Or on Instagram, Drew and Sophie Tango.
Drew and Sophie Tango, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing it.
Thanks for sharing with me, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Now, Parker, thank you so much for letting us kind of bounce in on you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. We. I was sharing with our audience that so many of us walk here into Asian Town Center, and a lot of us fine artists. We kind of go, left or go over negative space and Chrysalis and see art. But there's been times that I've walked in here and there's just so much energy, and there's a lot going on, and not only energy, but there's a lot of folks here.
Oh, yeah. You should be here on a Thursday. Our Thursdays are huge. We have about 5 salsa classes at 7 o'clock and at 8 o'clock. And then we have a party from 9 to midnight where we get anywhere to like 70 to 120 people every Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah, those probably salsa's our biggest one. I brought Brazilian Zouk to Ohio about 9 years ago, and nobody knew what it was. And I built this up so now it's not easy to sell something to somebody when they don't know what it is. Like, everybody's heard of salsa, but Zouk I had to make them fall in love with it, which I did, and so it wasn't too hard to do.
Give us a 101 for those of us who just don't know dance. Brazilian Zouk, like where did it come from? I didn't hear about it until tonight, so I'm a newbie to the concept.
Right, so Brazilian Zouk comes from Brazil, obviously. The music is a French Caribbean music that we kind of stole, and then we, as you can tell, we're not just dancing to French Caribbean music. You can dance it to all different styles of music, from Brazilian music, pop, dubstep, hip hop, R&B, lyrical. It's very adaptable. It started with lambada. If you remember lambada in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh, yeah. There's a few different stories, but I'm not going to tell any of the specific stories of how it was created, but lambada died, and then Zouk came from the ashes of that. And now lambada has actually been making a comeback as well, so a lot of Zouk dancers actually dance lambada as well.
I know there's a lot of folks out here that are going to be putting some questions in, just going, how do I get started? You know, and we want you to place those questions in, and we'll get to them later. Where did dance start for you?
So I grew up playing music. Okay. My dad was a musician in the Lakeland Civic Orchestra. He ushered in Broadway. He played in Broadway pit orchestras, upright bass. So I grew up, counting music. He would make me count all of like the rhythms and stuff and the time signatures when I was like 6, 7 years old. Identify all their instruments, and then I started playing sax when I was in 5th grade. I started martial arts and gymnastics. Martial arts when I was 5 and gymnastics when I was 2. And then in college I started ballet and modern. I found that I really liked dancing with people rather than fighting them. And I could use a lot of the same skills that I learned from just body control and music, and it all just fit together really well. And it was just so much more fun dancing with people, and I started off I saw a job opening for a ballroom dance instructor where they wanted movement experience, but not ballroom, because they had a different syllabus. So I started there, and then I became a ballroom instructor somewhere else. So I started leading and following from the very beginning, and from that I started getting into more salsa and more social dance. I still compete some in ballroom, but social dance, meaning non-competitive, not choreographed and stuff, is really where my passion is. And so I found Zouk, and now I travel around the country teaching this. I'm going to Canada on Friday for a big festival out there. It's going to be great. Yeah.
The social aspect, we had just kind of brushed across that wide topic. The social aspect is an important one, and you say you're going that direction, or I should say you're concentrating more on the social as opposed to the choreographed.
Well, I still choreograph. I choreograph for a Zouk team here.
Oh, okay.
And I choreograph routines with all of my students, and I love doing that. I love choreographing. It's very creative expression. I get to create and build things that are very different from what I see. I just let the music drive me. But social dancing is more it's a conversation. You just we learn this language, and we connect and we breathe together, and we start moving, and we see what happens.
The improvisation, I would imagine that there are folks who just go, there are a couple other dancers. There's somebody that I click with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so the chemistry of Zouk is probably something you can't really define.
No, not really.
You can't define it.
Not really. You have to experience it. Really, sometimes, you click with people, and sometimes you don't, and it's okay. There's some amazing pro dancers that I just don't click with, and there's some that I click with right away, and they're all incredible dancers, but. It is chemistry. Yeah. It's also just the mindset you're in at the time of the dance, and there's so many different elements going into any kind of communication with somebody that affects how that will go.
Is and this is a question. It's a complete ignorant question, but is size different? So if you put somebody who's 6'5" with somebody, that might create a different.
It'll create different dynamics, but it doesn't hinder the dance at all. You just learn how to adjust to every different partner. You always have to adjust. A good dancer is always adjusting to their lead or follow. You can't just force what you want. It's a conversation. Like I said, as a leader, I lead and then I follow. Right? I say something, I see what you heard, and then I make that work. You know, it's the same thing in verbal communication. Like, I may say something, you may hear something else, and, you know, like if I force, I mean, you saw something on the news recently where somebody's just forcing what they're saying. I'm not going to get into that, but like, if you try and force what you're trying to say, like, it never really goes well, you know? So I'm going to be like, okay, how did you understand what I just said? And then I'm going to go with that, and then we continue the conversation, you know? Yeah.
From, let's say, Monday morning to the time that Sunday night rolls around, there's a lot of different offerings. So somebody's like, you know, I mean, we had take a look at, and Beth kind of was like, you should know that wedding choreography goes on. I'm like, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, yeah. So I have wedding couples every day.
Okay, so what does that look like?
So typically we have a couple comes in and I do a consultation with them. And some studios will just give you a dance. Sorry, lights. And the lights are being funny. So some studios will just give you a dance. I like to sit down with you for a half an hour before we even start dancing and talk about the size of your floor, the material of your floor, the type of dress that you have, what will look good with it. You know, are there any leg, step restrictions in size of step? Can your arms go up all the way? What kind of vibe do you want? What's the rest of your wedding feel and look like? I asked for like 3 adjectives basically, so to get a kind of vibe that you like. And I create the dance with you on the floor, so it really is more yours, and I can see if you don't like something, we change it.
Yeah.
And I like to do not like, so competitive ballroom is going to look way different than a social, wedding dance. So I'm more about connecting and showing like the connection between each other rather than just steps. A lot of times I've seen wedding dances look very stiff, and I try to avoid that. I choreograph to the best of your ability to make you look good. I also ask for different levels. I could do look like you know what you're doing, obviously choreograph to the music, or put on a show. Those are like different levels that we can do. And I'm also, amateur, but I like to do photography. So I know what photographers are looking for as well. So I give them nice picture poses and have them hold things for longer than normal. So you get something that you can share later. Like, it's not all the same picture looking at each other, so.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one first wedding dance.
Right.
And you can't retake photos, and so to prepare for it makes perfect sense.
Oh, yeah. That's what people are going to remember. The photos like you share a year or 2 later. Yeah. They're not going to remember if you were on time. So I make some good photos and you're good. Yeah.
Wedding choreographer, Zouk.
So I teach about 35 different styles of dance. Oh. Yeah. All the competitive ballroom styles, social ballroom, and all the social Latin as well. Yeah.
What's the best way for folks to find out, kind of the menu of items that...
Just our website, www.vivadancestudio.com. Or Viva Dance CLE on Instagram, or Viva Dance Studio on Facebook. We're all over the place.
Tuesday night, Thursday night are big nights. Are there other events that kind of show up that we should keep an eye on?
I mean, we have different group classes on Mondays, on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays we have bachata classes. Mondays I think we have West Coast swing. We have parties for classic swing like Lindy Hop. Balboa, East Coast swing. We have Argentine tango parties, Zouk parties. We have ballroom parties here. And actually, I rent out this space for regular parties and weddings and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we have tables, chairs. You can bring any catering. We have a whole top floor. If you haven't been up there, have you been up there yet?
No. You want to?
Yeah, come check this out. Yeah. Follow us.
The top floor.
So that's our main floor down there, and that's like a floating hardwood oak floor. It has 4 different layers, so you can dance on it all day and your knees won't hurt. Up here,
those are things I don't even think about, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't want to dance like a
basketball player. I mean, I played on. It's different, but dancing.
Well, even a basketball floor has some give to it.
Yeah,
you don't want to play basketball on concrete all the time.
Right.
Right. I'm sure if you're playing outside, it feels different at the end than if you're playing in a court.
Yeah.
We got our city skyline view here, especially when the trees aren't there. It's a nice view from further back. It looks really big. When we have showcases here, our next showcase is actually November 1st. Our last showcase was just in March. That was our 10-year anniversary.
Well,
We've been here
congratulations.
for 10 years now. Yeah.
There's great air movement here.
Oh yeah.
I was expecting, kind of stifling, and I mean, it's great in here.
So the train goes right by there. I don't know why those are closed. We can open those, but you can't really hear it. It's probably gone by 10 times since you've been here.
Yeah.
Up here, when I have the showcase, we usually seat everybody up here. We have about 100 people for dinner that we can seat up here alone, and then just have dancing down there. For weddings and stuff, we can do seating on the floor there and fit a lot more people as well. It's a lot of space. And then over where you saw Tango, that's another room that we have available as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, thank you so much for having our community out here. What we want to encourage you folks to do too is share. We know that every single time you press that share button, it goes out to about another 100 people, and this is worth sharing.
Yeah.
What have we missed? What have we missed? There's I'm sure some important things like, if you're looking to take classes, this is where to start. What questions have I forgot to ask?
Can anybody do it?
That's a great question.
Yeah. I have a student that I have performed with and demoed with, actually for Zook as well, who's in a wheelchair. And I've done routines with her. I've done demos all over the place. So I dance with seated dancers, limitations, one arm, whatever. You can do anything. Yeah. I went up with the seated dancer. I thought that every time when she came to my intermediate class and we're doing all the crazy head movement stuff, I was like, oh, I don't know how to translate this one. Maybe this class you'll have to sit out or something, Yeah. But then I always figured out a way of translating it and making it work. And I have literally found nothing that we couldn't translate that she couldn't do yet.
What's your youngest student?
The youngest student that I've taught is like 5 or 6.
Okay.
In Russia, in ballroom, they start teaching them at like 4. We don't have any children group classes here since there's not a lot of kids downtown.
Yeah.
There's some other ones that do that like in like suburbs and stuff more.
Yeah.
But we will do private lessons for children there as well.
Oldest student?
My oldest student, maybe about 90-ish or so.
90-ish?
Yeah.
I imagine that there's physiological, advantages that I don't even think about. I'm just like, it's social, it's fun. You're like, no, I mean, it goes way beyond.
So with more popular dances, like Zouk is a very niche, and there's like, I know most of the Zouk dancers probably in the United States. You know what I mean? Like, it's growing. It's definitely growing now, and people become pretty close friends in Zouk because it's so small. Something like salsa and bachata, you can literally go anywhere. If you move, you have a whole new community and a set of friends immediately.
Yeah.
And I know people that just like go places and like they just meet and they have friends no matter where they go for work. They travel for work. They always have something to do and somewhere to go, and people who they know are like pretty decent human beings and stuff. When somebody really commits themselves to something there and can spend some time, there's all walks of life, but they're like pretty often fairly decent human being,
It's a language in and of itself. I mean, I'm realizing just from being here, I'm like, oh, these folks, may not have known each other. They might be lifelong friends because they come together on Tuesdays and dance.
Yeah. A lot of times, like that guy dancing right there is his second time ever here, So now I'm sure he's got a couple friends already just from last week,
And that's too,
so
right?
everybody dances with everybody. You can come with a partner, you can come with your husband or wife or anything, and you rotate and you dance with everybody. If you want to, you could just stay with your partner, but that usually does not happen. And we encourage it not to happen. If that's the only way you feel comfortable, that's fine. But it's really nice to learn to lead and follow other people.
Yeah.
Also here, I don't know if you saw, like I always do lead and follow and find somebody with the opposite hand signal.
I didn't see that.
So traditionally the leader is male and the follower is female, but here we don't care about that. You saw a lot of men following a girl leading here, so you get to choose your role, and we don't make assumptions based on gender. You can just choose which one you want to do, and a lot of us switch actually too. So when I ask somebody to dance, I'll ask them lead, follow, or switch.
And I imagine as an instructor, you need to know, both what do we
Roles.
call it? Both
Yeah,
roles.
yeah.
You know, to be able to teach both roles.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So a lot of instructors know both roles, but like I actually enjoy doing both also, so that helps. Yeah.
There, you had talked a lot about. We were down there. For those folks who weren't watching the entire time, you have to trust. There's trust.
Oh yeah.
It is, because you're like, if I'm a follower and I've just gone around 2 or 3 times, you know, I might fall. If
There are ways I didn't do it in the demo at all, but I can lead her to fall forward or backwards or away and do all sorts of things like that too. It takes a lot of trust. Yeah.
And the improv. Let's kind of finish out on the improv side, because as you're talking about the trust, right? And if you were to, not you, let's just say an intermediate, Zouk dancer were to dance for the first time with somebody from a different country, or up in Canada, let's say this weekend.
Yeah.
What is that like? Because are there different dialects of Zouk in?
Yeah, there used to be all different kinds of Zouk when it first was developed. Like different instructors and people started doing. There was like urban Zouk, and then there's like D-Zouk, and there's Lamba Zouk, and there's all different ones. And nowadays we've started just kind of mixing all those together. It's really beneficial to take time and connect with your partner before doing all the fancy stuff that you saw me doing.
Yeah.
So we just do usually we dance like tango, and they do 3 dances at a time, right? Did Andrew tell you about this at all?
No.
So they do something called a tanda, where if you ask somebody to dance, you're dancing with them for 3 songs. You don't stop, right? And if you don't want to do 3 songs, you start at the second song. You start you know what I mean?
Right.
But you, so the first song is more like connecting and feeling out your new partner. Second song is like you build up and do a little bit more. Third song would be like all your fancy stuff, probably, if you feel like your partner's capable of that, Zouk is kind of similar, and we usually don't just dance 1 song at a time. Here, we only have a 1-hour practica, so you'll see people only doing 1 song at a time. But at a festival, the dancing starts at 9 p.m. and goes till 5 a.m., So you have time to really connect with a partner and dance with them, sometimes for 15 minutes to an hour at a time with one person, So you don't want to throw all of your fancy stuff at them all at once, you know what I mean? Like, you build up to that, and maybe you don't do it at all. So, it's just really you feel the music and you feel the dynamics between you two. And if you try something and it doesn't work, who cares? Do something else.
Yeah.
But
are there any questions out there, or do you have any questions that we should kind of throw out here?
No, there are not at the moment.
We know that a lot of comments and likes.
Oh yeah, if you have any questions and they pop up on their screen, she can tell me. So I'll answer any questions if anybody has them.
Usually there's 200 or 300 people who watch live, and there's usually 2,000 or 3,000 people who watch the recorded session. Let's squeeze back down, and then kind of end up down on the that dance floor, and maybe kind of point us at maybe something that folks might be doing. I don't know. Again, you introduced me to Zouk, and it's fascinating. But are these dancers? Is this Zouk or?
Yeah. Everybody's doing Zouk here. Yeah. Okay. So right here, they're just doing the basic step, right? This is just a slow, quick, and now they're doing something called lateral, or in English lateral, right? And you see, in the back there, they're just playing a little bit. So I like Zouk because it's a lot more playful. Some dances, you really stick with the basic timing, while Zouk at higher levels, you can mess with it a lot. That's very similar to West Coast swing, Argentine tango. It doesn't really have a set timing that you have to do for tango. West Coast swing and Zouk has your set timing, but then you can play around with it and mess with it a lot,
Yeah.
So we get to stop. Like, we don't have to continue. Like salsa, you want to keep doing your step basically the whole time. You might hold some stuff or go into chimes, but you basically stay with that basic timing the whole time.
What are some of the flair items? And I don't even know. Do you understand the question?
So
I see hair flying. Yeah. I love that. And is it costuming? What's some of the flair stuff?
So let me see. Who can I grab over here? Let's see.
Putting somebody on the spot. I love it.
Let me grab Nancy
Yeah.
for a second. Hey Nancy, can I borrow you for a second? So you were talking about like more flair type of stuff, like
Yeah.
So like in the beginning, for the first 3 to 6 months, you're probably not going to do any like it's just vertical movement like this, you know. And like you're not doing any of the head movement because that until you learn how to do it, it could be dangerous, you know. Later on, you start learning, you know, like we were doing in class, all of the fun head movement stuff. And then as far as flair stuff, you know, like we can have single-footed spins, we can have stuff like I was talking about before, where it's just be trusting, like. Right, where I can ask her to fall towards me. We can do all sorts of things where I can ask her to fall away from me. Right? We can do things. I mean, we can do those types of things from any position. We can do all sorts of. Right, on one foot. Those are like a little bit more of the fancy stuff that you get into much, much later. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Nancy is amazing. She's like my favorite follow in Ohio. She's probably the best salsa dancer in Ohio. Sorry to all the other ones. They're great also, but she's so incredible. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you inviting us in through these doors. This is an amazing space. I know, Beth, thank you for keeping an eye on the camera. It feels energizing just to be here in your space here for an hour or so.
So I also, on July 11th through 13th, I have a Zouk festival here that we call Wu-Wei Zouk that I run, and I bring in teachers from all out of town. I bring in usually one big couple. I bring Devlin and Adayu from Brazil and Portland, Seattle, one of those, Portland, I think. And then I'm bringing in teachers from Columbus, from Detroit. I have teachers from here, and then we have classes all day, and then we have parties all night. And on Sunday we have a beach party where we bring a floor out to Edgewater and stuff too. We do that fairly often during the summer. Some of my students bought a floor and they just set it up. Like it's so great. Yeah.
We are going to be keeping an eye on that. You'll see our face at some point.
If you try,
not because you know how to dance, but
just come hang out. Yeah. You can look. Some of the videos for that are on my Instagram, which is Cult of Zouk.
Okay.
So cult, as in like joining a cult, like Cult of Zouk. Zouk is spelled Z-O-U-K, and especially if you want to look it up on YouTube, you can go down that rabbit hole. There's amazing Zouk dancers. You'll be up all night watching that. But I started the Cult of Zouk. That was the name of my team here also, because typically when people start dancing Zouk from other things, they get really into Zouk and they kind of like quit a lot of all the other dances, and like all the other dances say like, oh, you're in the cult now, basically. So I started making a joke out of it. And the first routine that I did, I had everybody wearing hoods and candles. We came out with like fake candles, and we chant. A lot of times you count Zouk rhythm as boom, chick, chick, boom. And I had them walking out with candles, chanting all together, and then handing out the candles. Everybody cracked up. It was really, well, the first time we did it here there wasn't a lot of Zouk dancers. They were a little weirded out, but anytime we go to a Zouk festival, everybody's cracking up. They got it. Yeah.
So I know that we have, and this may already have been done, but we have so many musicians, really talented musicians here in the community.
Yeah.
Has there been a Cult of Zouk song that has been? Is there one out there yet?
There's not. No. So I had a really strange birthday party last year where I danced to a birthday dance. Is basically where I'm in the middle if it's my birthday, and everybody dances around you and they steal you, so you dance with everybody in a circle. And I danced to the song Cult Leader by Mala, and it was a weird party. I ended up splicing in a phone ringing to interrupt the song, which led to a whole bunch of other kind of Lynchian weirdness that I had planned. But yeah, that's not a part. But that's the closest thing that I've found to it. I would love a Cult of Zouk song. That would be great. And if you could do it in a Zouk rhythm also, so doom, chick, chick, doom, chick, chick, like kind of slow reggaeton or like anything that's like beats per minute are typically like anywhere from 70 beats per minute for a slow song, all the way up to maybe about 85 or so for a faster one.
Yeah, I'm just saying Ben Ferrari, you know, I mean, yeah,
Oh, I've been looking.
Neil musicians, yeah.
I've been looking for a DJ actually who's willing to who does producing, like a producer that I could sit with and help create stuff, because there are Zouk DJs and producers, but there are not a lot of them yet. So if we create something good, I could find gigs for them all over the country probably.
I love that you've left us with a challenge, collaboration challenge, and this another reason to share this video.
And again, now you're a member of the Tuesday at 7 community, so your festivals and parties hosted on Tuesdays.
Oh, nice. Great. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for letting us in, and
stick around for as long as you like.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. See you guys next week.